Our report is about basic needs approach. So first, basic needs approach to development is one which gives priority to meeting the basic needs of all people. So basic needs is according to Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs. In level 1, we have this physical survival needs. For us to survive, we need this kind of basic needs. The first and most basic of all needs are those to do with physical survival. This is the need for food, clothing, water, shelter, and oxygen. But basic needs included not only the essential to physical survival, but also to access services, employment, and decision-making to provide real basis for participation. So, basic needs approach to development is a practice and policy-oriented approach that gives priority to meeting people's basic needs to ensuring that there are sufficiently, appropriately distributed basic needs, goods, and services to sustain all human lives at a minimally decent level. So, basic needs approach to development is also known as human need-centered development, an approach that aims to put people first. The basic needs approach is one of the major approaches to the measurement of absolute poverty in developing countries. So, basic needs approach to development is isa kagahatag sang priority sa tao para ma-meet nila ang ilang basic needs. Isa man ni ka-approach nga gina-measure ang absolute poverty sa mga developing countries. Ang absolute poverty refers to standard which is consistent over time and between countries. For example, like sa aton nga human body, ang percentage kang population kang ginakaanta nga less food than sa required nga food nga kananta para ma-sustain ang aton nga human body. Next is the basic needs embraces the components of previous strategies and approaches such as rural development, urban poverty, alleviation, employment creation through small-scale industries, redistribution with growth, and poverty, employment, and equity-oriented approaches. So, ang basic needs ko is kinahanglan para mapatigayon ang progress sa isa ka community or society. The more basic needs nga ma-produce such as agricultural needs, industrial needs, labor, and more ang employment. If more ang employed, may ara nga tendency nga magdako ang income sang community and manubo ang population sang poor people. And gina-aim sa approach nga mag-increase ang employment para makover ang mga basic needs ng mga poor. Next is developmental programs. So, developmental programs following the basic needs approach to do not invest in economically productive activities that will help a society carry its own weight in the future. Rather, focus on allowing society nga mag-consume just enough to rise above the poverty line and ma-meet niya ang iyang basic needs. For example, of developmental programs are the Sustainable Livelihood Program funded by the SWD in 2018. The purpose of this program is to deliver a capacity building program to develop the entrepreneurial and labor skills of poor households by providing them with opportunities to enhance their access to basic social services and standards of living. Mostly, ang beneficiaries kang among nga program are the members of Poor Peace or Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. Isa sa mga activities na ginaobra sa program is ang chicken egg laying production, animal breeding and raising, and madamo pa. And like man sa country nga India, may ara man sila nga program which is the Integrated Rural Development Program. Isa ini ka form of self-employment program which ang mga certain amenities were provided to people kag sa ila household. They were supposed to generate incomes out of the assets that were provided kananda. Like tailoring machine ang gin-provide kananda. Ang tailoring machine is amoran ang source nga gin-provide sang government sa ila kag sa ila household. Ang we're supposed to generate ka income out of the resources nga gintaos ang government kananda. Basic needs approach is also places people at the center of development because the focus is on providing resources to people so that they can be best able to transform these resources into development. So the basic needs focuses of what is believed to be eradicable level of poverty. So next is introduces the basic needs approach. So basic needs approach was introduced by the International Labor Organization's World Employment Conference in 1976. They enriched and elaborated the earlier concept of employment and policies to deal with it by relating both directly to the situation and needs of developing countries. It proposed the satisfaction of human needs as the overriding object of national and international development policy. The basic needs approach development was endorsed by governments and workers and employers organizations from all over the world. It influences the programs and policies of major multilateral and bilateral development agencies and was the precursor to human development approach.
So, good day everyone. Our report is about basic needs approach. So, my report is about human rights approach. Human rights are the basic rights and freedom that belong to every person in the world from birth until death. Actually, the human rights have a basic rights. These are based or shared values like dignity, fairness, inequality, respect, and independence. These values are defined and protected by law. The next is the human right versus needs. Human rights and human needs must be in complementary. It is the right of human to achieve his basic needs. Basic needs describe the condition required for a person to thrive, while right is recognition of a person's entitlements by virtue of being a person. To have that need is fulfilled, and rights are described as freedom, they freely choose or choosing their wants. And the next is the basic needs model. Basic needs approach is a major approach to the measurement of absolute in developing countries. It attempts to define the absolute minimum resources necessary for long-term physical well-being, and usually in terms of consumption goods like shelter, clothing, sanitation, education, and healthcare. So one of my example is about online class. Because of pandemic, di ba, nag-online class kita. So, di ba dati, hindi taman gid kinahanglan ang gadgets for class gid, o hindi man gid natin gid, ano siya nga needs gid. But because of this pandemic, kung naging online class kita, naging needs na natin siya. That's all. Thank you.